What is going on, guys? It's Adam and Marf. Today, we're going to be talking about China, Russia, and everything else that's going on. Of course, a lot of new developments as we speak. So we'll be right back right after this. All right, remember, nothing in this show should be considered legal, medical, or financial advice. The views of the callers can differ considerably and do not necessarily reflect the opinions of myself, Dex, or anyone else on the show. You should do your own research and consult with professionals. The internet is full of fake news, so please take everything with a grain of salt. All right, what is going on, guys? It is Adam, a.k.a. Marf, and this is Marfoogle News. Today, we have a ton of stuff popping off. Russian Defense Ministry. We have Japan, of course, being threatened. I country has Navy ships enter the English Canal. We have WW3 talk. So we have a lot. But just to remind you, of course, we try to back up every story that we show you here. If it's a tweet, if it's a video, if it's a article, we have it all backed up on our website, marfooglenews.com. In fact, if you go there, you'll be able to see that it's easily organized by our thumbnail. You, of course, look for this thumbnail. We will use nuclear first, China. Lines have been drawn. When you click on that, you will see that we have done a bibliography of every single one of our sources. That includes tweets, that includes videos, that includes everything else. So again, make sure to check that out. That is at marfooglenews.com. On the right side, if you see an affiliate that you missed the link, all of them are right here on the right side. If you want to do a PayPal during the show and say something or do a shout out, that is there. And then, of course, our Amazon links and everything else to support. We are truly independent. We do not have a multi-channel network. We are backed up by the viewer. So thank you guys for being our backbone. Let's bring in my co-host / internet brother, Dex. Dex is back, so let's get into it. What's going on, Dex?
Well, hello, Adam, and hello, Foogle fam. I'm doing just fine.
So just a quick update since you're here, and last show, you actually had some pretty bad storms in Georgia.
Yeah, it was kind of strange. It was just in our area. It knocked out power and internet, and then, ironically, since then, through today, we've had our internet knocked out like 3 times now from storms. So it's kind of crazy.
Again, if something like that happens last second, we have to cancel the show. Usually, if I have time, I can do it, everything on my end to do a solo show. But it does not. We have this show now to where it is half and half. So if I lose half of it, then especially the website part and everything else, it really affects it. So Dex has become an integral part of the show. If I do a solo video, usually it's a cell phone video or it's it would be a call in or something like that. But I have a whole lot to set up on my end if I switch back to that. So anyways, thank you guys for being patient and apologize about that. So hopefully we will not have, we'll have more storms. I'm sure of it. Let's get right into the news. Russian Defense Ministry website shut down by foreign hackers, or at least that's what they say. It says that Russia's Defense Ministry has been the target of a foreign cyber attack, government officials in Moscow said on Friday, and the ministry said its website was targeted by a DDoS, or a distributed denial of service attack that oriented from outside of Russia. So, again, we're seeing a lot of back and forth, the tit for tats. We did say, or JB, our president, said that he would respond to some of the other cyber stuff that they blamed on Russia. And then all of a sudden this happens. This also could be the Russian government doing it to themselves to say this is kind of their tit for tat. It could be a number of things. It could be CIA, KGB, or any of the top, any of the above. Or it could be an actual group inside the U.S., or it could have been the U.S. government. Who knows? But it does say the official website of the Russian Ministry of Defense has been operating normally since 12:25 Moscow time and is fully accessible to all internet users. According to the cybersecurity provider McAfee, which is just hilarious, a DDoS attack happens when hackers flood a network with so much malicious traffic that it cannot operate or communicate normally. So, Again, state-run agency TASS reported that the ministry website went down early Friday and specialists worked to get it back online. Now it is back up and running, of course. This was Friday's, but we did want to update you that. So it actually does kind of play into this whole weekend, and now we're on Monday, and a lot of things are happening right now. So it very well could tie into what's going on this second.
It just seems like a little weak for a retaliation, right? In just
a DDoS,
take a DDoS on a website, and it's like, okay, well, they'll go down for just a few minutes or an hour, and they'll be back up. You know, that's pretty weak compared to like the crap that's been thrown at us, right?
Yeah, exactly. Like infrastructure and our fuel lines and everything else taken down. But of course, that's probably because that's might be on purpose. Who knows? And then we have U.S. accuses China of massive Microsoft hack on 250,000 servers worldwide, which we also have a lot of whistleblowers coming out right now. It does kind of give some faith to some people because obviously a lot of people have been down in the last year, and there are some really big things happening right now. So again, we will see. I would definitely make sure to follow our web-only content over there. There's going to be some really crazy stuff there very soon. And then also we have our own articles there that are going to be published there. So make sure to keep checking that out. It says on Monday, the B admin joined allied nations in formally naming People's Republic of China state-sponsored hackers as responsible for exploiting the estimated 250,000 servers in the Microsoft Exchange hack discovered in March. It says a senior administration official told American Military News on a press call on Sunday. It says the senior administration official said that China's Ministry of State Security, or MSS, has used criminal contract hackers to, quote, conduct unsanctioned cyber operations globally. So for once, they're actually accusing China instead of the other guys. When that happened, Dex, that was a pretty big deal. We covered that back in March.
Yeah, it was very big. I mean, you can just imagine having access to all of the major email accounts out there for all the companies, anybody that's using Microsoft, which is basically every Fortune 5,000 company probably, let alone 500, and plenty of government organizations as well.
And which ties right into like it sounds like another half of this whole thing with solar winds, and this is done at the same time, and but it's of course not them, right? But I actually talked to an employee at Walmart I don't know how we got on the subject. I believe that it was, I don't even know why he ended up telling me, but he said that somebody had been getting unemployment under his name, and that he was told and that he had to go, and he was given paperwork to go turn in because he had identity theft. Oh, it was because of his, I think it was because of his bank or something that he was a part of, or his college data. That's right. I should ask him again which college it was. So his college data from when he did his grants and funds, that was accessed, and then from that they got unemployment under his name. So then he basically had to say, I'm working at Walmart, and I did not collect unemployment. He said they basically told him that it was part of a huge thing, that it was millions and millions of dollars of unemployment money, and was part of this same hack. So he was part of it, and he was let known that, they're getting unemployment in his name. So there is a lot going on right now, and just the regular consumer, the regular person that's working a 9-to-5 right now, it does need to be really, really careful right now. Especially if you own a house, I would watch your house deeds. There is new kind of crime called deed fraud, where they can take simple information and basically transfer your house out of your possession. There's a lot of crazy things going on right now, in fact. So everybody needs to start being careful on our level, not just the huge infrastructure, blackout, lights out scenario, but just as a personal civilian. Everybody needs to watch their own back. Nobody's going to do it for you. In fact, there's a lot to say. There's specialists, there's people in very high positions that have told us just in the last year that no one is going to watch your back. Especially your house and your property and anything like that. Nobody's got your back on that. That's something you have to watch. And then It says that the senior administration official said China's Ministry of State Security did this, and cryptojacking entails hacking into a victim's computer and installing software that uses the victim's computing power to mine cryptocurrencies, as well as stealing a victim's existing cryptocurrency. Dex, you are a crypto expert here, so how did this end up working out?
Well, I mean, I guess they're talking about the fact that they do other things, and this is one of the other things they've been known to do. So, yeah, the whole process on this side is really a monetary thing, where they're either trying to take transactions or coins you may have, or just using your computing power for mining purposes, basically taking your electricity.
And, of course, right now, the graphics cards that help actually, mine this stuff have just been astronomically high. If you have one for sale, it's basically sold the second you post it right now, because everyone is using it for mining and these things, especially some of the higher end ones. I actually found out from my 14-year-old nephew. He said he couldn't buy a computer for himself, not with the graphics card he wanted, because there was none. He's essentially waiting until he can get the right graphics card for his gaming, because everybody else is using it for crypto and for mining, and because there's all these shortages with chips, there's all sorts of backlogs. Tico and Taco, thank you so much for your support there. Thanks for popping in so early. And then Melissa Walters says, wish I could send more. I have to watch everything now since my husband passed. Thank you for all your informative moves. Melissa Walters, I'm praying for you and for your husband, and making sure that he is somewhere safe up there. I'm so sorry to hear for your passing, and I'm praying for your recovery and for your long-term feelings about that. I'm so sorry. It takes a long time to get over something like that. I've had so much death in the family and so much death in my personal group of friends. It never gets easier, no matter how many times it happens. Christina Faith, again, Melissa, we're all with you here. Buford Drake, thank you for subscribing. And Christina Faith, much love to you all. Be brave. And then Linda Sloat, thank you for being the last one out last time. Over on D-Live, thank you, Susie P, for popping in very, very early with a Ninja Guinea over on D-Live. Thank you for your support. Maui Racing Realtor, Tower Bear, and Life is Better on Stilts. Star Marfblade 69 says, much love, Adam Mods and Foogs, Stormblade. And then Jaybird and Red 1967. Everybody that has popped in already, I really appreciate it. There is so much more. This show is going to be absolutely nuts. Then we have revealed leak uncovers global abuse of cyber surveillance weapon. Now, this is worth its own story here, because this is honestly part of this huge story that has been breaking for the last 3 years. And we told you that all of this was going on. Back when they did the presidential alert, I was actually talking about upstream surveillance and how things can be pushed. And then, of course, on Marfoogle News, the video where we clipped that caller that called in that had a position very similar to Edward Snowden, that talked about how they cannot only get into your phone, get into your computers, get into your cameras, all of that, but they can also push stuff onto your computers, push stuff onto your phones. If they wanted to make you look bad, it's not like the old school, put some drugs in your drawer when you're not looking to frame you. They can do it digitally. And that's, again, something that I believe is going to play a bigger part in some of the biggest kind of arrests and cover-ups in the future. It says that, of course, human rights activists, journalists, and lawyers across the world have been targeted by authoritarian governments using hacking software sold by Israeli surveillance company NSO Group, according to an investigation into a massive data leak. It says that the investigation by The Guardian and 16 other media organizations suggest widespread and continuing abuse of NSO's hacking spyware, Pegasus, which the company insists is only intended for use against criminals and terrorists. It says that Pegasus is a malware that infects iPhones and Android devices to enable operators of the tool to extract messages, photos, and emails, record calls, and secretly activate microphones. This is something that has been around for a long time. But again, this kind of technology, but this malware was not only used, and of course we knew all about it, it was actually farmed out to other countries, other horrible countries. It says the leak contains a list of more than 50,000 phone numbers that it is believed have been identified as those of the people of interest by clients of NSO since 2016. Forbidden Stories, a Paris-based non-profit organization, Amnesty International, initially had access to the leaked list and shared access with media partners as part of the Pegasus Project, a reporting consortium. It says the presence of a phone number in the data does not reveal whether a device was infected with Pegasus or subject to an attempted hack. However, the consortium believes that the data is indicative of potential targets of the NSO's government clients identified in advance of possible surveillance attempts. So this massive 50,000 person list was basically their cyber hit list, right? Of the people they wanted to listen to, blackmail, get all their information, or find out if they're criminals, right? Dex, what would you bet that those were not all of course, criminals and T or ists?
Oh, well, they're not. I mean, that they've gone through and found that a lot of them are journalists and other people. I mean, this story is huge. It just keeps going about the different people that were that were potentially being targeted. I mean, they can't necessarily determine that because the number was there that they were targeted, but because the number was there, it's obviously on a short list of numbers, right? And so that's kind of what's really interesting. 50,000 phone numbers is not a very big list. I mean, it is a big list to you and I, but in all the phone numbers in the world, it's not that much, right? So these are very targeted list of people.
Yes, it's very specific. It's their hit list. It's their SH hit list, right? And then, of course, Snowden has commented about this. He lauds reporting on the spyware scandal as the story of the year. It says, according to an investigation by 17 media outlets from the United States to the United Kingdom, France, Germany, and other countries, NSO Group's software Pegasus was used to hack smartphones which belonged to human rights activists, lawyers, journalists, business executives, and even two women who were close to journalist Jamal Khashoggi, which, again, we all know who was taken out in Saudi consulate in Istanbul in October 2018. Again, he was literally separated from his body. It says, stop what you're, stop what you're doing and read this. This leak is going to be the story of the year, Snowden tweeted, adding that the Israeli company should bear direct criminal liability for the deaths and detentions of those targeted by the digital infection vector it sells, which have no legitimate use. They sold this thing which could basically activate the microphones, cameras, everything, and get into anybody's phone. And they were just selling it willy-nilly. It's like, Dex, this was an extremely powerful tool, and it's like in the hands of good, it's an amazing tool, I'm sure. But now it's basically given out and sold to the highest bidder, and anybody can get this if you have money.
Yeah, exactly. And so that article just before this, if you guys want to go to our website and read it in detail, because it's a very long article, it goes into depth about what the Pegasus software is, what it did, how it was used, etc. So that's, if you guys want to read what Snowden is saying, hey, everybody should know this. That's it. Like, that article it was one of the first breaking ones that went into great detail. So go take a look at that. I would highly recommend everyone go to our website and click on that link and read the whole story. Down
towards the bottom, well, actually more towards the middle, it talks about, of course, it talks about how Pegasus is inside these. It says, NSO said that even if Pineda's phone... okay, so actually that has some backstory. It says the phone number of a freelance Mexican reporter, Cecilio Pineda Berto, was found in the list, apparently of interest to a Mexican client in the weeks leading up to his murder. When his killers were able to locate him at a car wash, his phone has never been found, so no forensic analysis has been possible to establish whether it was infected. Do you see how this could be used for bad? And if any country has the money and the contact to get this software, then they can all of a sudden grab, Cecilio Pineda Berto's phone, find out where he is. Of course, they found him at a flippin' car wash, and they took care of it. That is so scary. The fact that they've got like this Batman technology, and basically anybody can buy it, including horrible, horrible people. This is absolutely a huge deal. This is the next kind of Snowden type story. This is the next huge deal, like when we found out that NSA was doing all of this. This is even worse. Private companies are selling this stuff out.
And Adam, before we move on off of this topic, pull up the link that I put in Screener. It's somebody had tweeted this to us or commented this to us, and I just found the actual FEMA EMS information on this test that's coming out on August 11th. So talking about activating phones, we know exactly what's happened in the past with this. Now, it sort of sounds like this may be limited to people that have opted in, but I imagine a lot of the phones are opted in automatically.
This is, of course, June 11th, 2021 was released. It says, Washington, in coordination with Federal Communications Commission, will conduct a nationwide test of the emergency alert system and wireless emergency alerts. It says the national test will consist of 2 portions, testing WEA and EAS capabilities. Both tests will begin at 2:20 p.m. Eastern on August 11th. The wireless emergency alert portion of the test will be directed at only consumer cell phones where the subscriber has opted in to receive test messages. This will be the second nationwide WEA test, but the first nationwide WEA test on a consumer opt-in basis. The test message will display in either English or in Spanish, depending on the language settings of the wireless handset. The emergency alert system portion of the test will be sent to radios and televisions, and this will be the 6th nationwide EAS test. So, first of all, how do you opt into this thing?
I'm looking on my phone. I don't have an opt-in. I have either emergency alerts and public safety alerts and Amber alerts, and that's it. Right?
So
I don't have an opt-in. So I'm assuming, if my phone's on, it's going to get hit. And I don't know that I want my phone being hit when that goes off.
So we talked about this with the presidential alert. It is with the presidential alert, it was supposed to be every single phone, no matter what brand, what carrier, all of the carriers got in on it. And where you could find this is the fact that and I came up with my video, which that is my biggest video to date, over 1 million views, talking about basically turn off your phone. The reason why is I said that this was upstream. This was not downstream. This wasn't just an alert. What this was capable of doing is actually having you hit that button while you look at your screen and everything. That sounds crazy, but get this. They have the E911 chip, which John McAfee back then tweeted the day after I made this video and confirmed what I said. Snowden confirmed what I said that next day. That's why that video went so big, is I said it a day before John McAfee and a day before Snowden, was that this was some sort of upstream surveillance. I mentioned ISMI or now ISMI catchers, or I can't remember the acronym for it. But again, it can be sent to the phone. Any system that can essentially send a signal to any phone can also grab from that same phone. But also, we're talking about this thing was supposed to go to burner phones, any kind of phones. And guess what? Almost every single phone has a fingerprint sensor. So when this thing goes out, what do? You end up touching the screen to press OK to cancel it. And to see where that button is, you have to look at it. So then you are looking at the camera, you are pressing OK, and when you press OK, they know you are looking at that screen. Click. It takes a picture of that person holding whatever phone number that is, which again, if it's a burner phone used under fake preferences and everything else, snap, it's got your picture. So it then can go into its database with AI organizing it and says, 622 blah 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 is this gentleman who's not a citizen of the United States or came from this country and is here without proper information, and it's attached to that number. It was one of the easiest ways to do it. But then that thing came out, and a lot of people didn't get it. It was almost like it was selected people. And now we've seen the movie, of course, with the asteroid, Greenland, come out. And in that movie, they use a fictitious scenario where they use the presidential alert to select certain people for shelter from this asteroid. Now, I'm not saying an asteroid's going to happen, but they used a realistic scenario where they used that system to actually pre-select people to survive. That the presidential alert is actually a doomsday system. So what I'm saying is I don't know why they're testing this, but it seems like they are testing it again, and in this way they're doing it differently for some reason. And we're definitely going to be looking into it. Foogle fam, start digging. The show is us. So
and the backup date, if for some reason they cancel the August 11th date, the backup date is August 25th for that test.
Yeah. So we need to do a separate piece on that. So we're going to be putting something out in the future on that specific test and try to find out everything we can. Who knows? Maybe I'll even reach out to Snowden. On another note, I want to remind you guys, if you have not already, or if you're new here and you do not know about EMP Shield, there is an actual way you can protect your home, your devices, of course, your generators, your cars from an actual electromagnetic pulse or an EMP or even a CME. A lot of talk about solar flares lately. I hope that people start to see this as a necessity instead of an option. Marfooglenews.com/EMP. And what happens is not only will you help support the show, but EMP Shield will give you a discount on top of that. In fact, our grandfather discount is $50, and that actually stacks on top of whatever sale they're doing. So if they're doing anywhere from 20 to whatever off, you actually get that in addition to our discount. That is something that we only get because we were in there early, among with just a couple people. I think smaller than one hand gets that kind of discount. So go to marfooglenews.com/EMP to protect yourself. Definitely look at the car model. Again, and you don't want to be stuck somewhere after an EMP or multiple EMPs hit. This is Keystone tested, military device, military tested. And again, this is the same company that is being used by DOD, DHS, and of course the DEMSO team helping protect the Texas grid. So again, check that out and make sure to leave with an open mind here. All right, and then speaking of solar storms, Dex, we have a solar storm that could shut down internet. Now, this is something that nobody thinks about, but how the internet would actually affect all of us. And I mean worldwide internet shutdown. I think that there's a reason why Russia has completely separated their internet. Dex, again, on this subject, what do you think would happen if we lost all internet completely? I mean, just, our entire network went down.
Yeah, it was funny because, 15 years ago, 20 years ago, it would just be a feature you wouldn't have, right? But now the whole world is so ingrained and integrated into the internet that if we did not have the backbone of the internet, I think a lot of things would shut down. We would see a lot of failures. Certainly there are things that have their own backups, like credit card processing with phone lines and stuff like that, right? But ultimately, there's a lot of the stuff that's backhauled across the internet. There's a lot of integrated systems. I mean, you wouldn't even be able to shop at Amazon or Walmart for that matter, right? Without literally going to Walmart and probably paying in cash. So it would be a pretty life-changing event if our, internet was hurt by something like a solar flare. And that's exactly what this article is talking about. Like, what would that effect be?
Now, also, you talk about, things shutting down. Now, vital infrastructure, even our traffic systems are now based on the internet. So when you're looking at, say, traffic lights and all these different systems, they're now set up to, actually talk to each other And once that shuts down, we would have a really, really big disaster on hand. Just think about it. If one thing messed up just for our traffic systems, or for how now our setups, there are whole highways now with all digital speed signs and different things that direct you on which, highways to use and things like this. In fact, that are all digital and all run by the internet. If you had cars going the same way or something like that. But I think, honestly, if this happened, that would be the least of our worries. We're talking about infrastructure, massive infrastructure that is all based on the internet now. I don't know why we did that. I think we should always have had redundancy and had a secondary kind of backup, but we don't. When this happens, it's going to be horrid for anyone. It says the sun has hurled a solar storm into space and sent it careening on collision course towards the Earth. This poses multiple dangers here on the third rock from the sun, especially to our digital world. How big an impact will it have on online infrastructure? Will our internet be safe? Well, the sun has an 11-year cycle during which it shoots out superheated magnetized magma, referred to as coronal mass ejections, into space. The severity of the solar storm depends on which part of the cycle the sun is in. Also, what is important is the location of the Earth in comparison to the trajectory of the solar flare. If an extremely severe solar storm is generated and the Earth, of course, is in its path, there will be a big impact on all communications devices. Again, including mobile phones, computers, as well as electricity grids. However, if the Earth is not in the path of the severe solar storm, it escapes the destructive consequences. It says, if a really big solar storm was to hit the Earth, it would have an impact on our online activities. It could take down the internet. How will solar storm affect online activities? Well, Science Focus explains the impact of a solar flare on Earth in an easy-to-understand manner. If a CME on a similar scale to the strike the Earth today, it could damage the electronics in orbiting satellites, disrupting navigations and communication systems, as well as the GPS time synchronization that the internet relies on to function. It would also create a surge of electromagnetic radiation in the atmosphere, of course, causing huge currents in our power grids, which would burn out electrical transformers, leading to lengthy outages. In fact, but remember, this is a worst case scenario. So what the government is actually preparing for right now is exactly that, the worst case scenario. And not only that, the elites have been talking about this to the point where now almost any company that does either bunkers or backed up EMP stuff, EMP protection, you're talking about anything with solar power, they want it protected, these super elite mansions, now they are basically overrun with customers. And we're talking about top tier, the wealthiest 1% in the world. They're all buying these things. Some of them are even buying EMP protected and solar flare protected super yachts. Some of them are even buying super subs. It's so weird because in the last 2 years, we have seen more CEOs and super billionaires go this route than any time in history. This isn't just like every few years we have these kind of WW3 scares. This is like they know something. So I'm sorry, but it's like when I say it's like a bad movie that you can see where it's going, anybody who is looking and actually has their eyes open and does not let anything that, if you see something that is so incredibly obvious, but then they say, no, it's not. If you don't let that, no, it's not, if they show you a picture of the sky and it's a blue sky and they say, no, that's actually a red sky. It's your eyes telling you otherwise. You're not going to listen to it. But almost for the last 2 years, I have seen so many people, incredibly smart people, basically see exactly what's going on here. And no one is, all these people are just saying, oh, okay, well, they said this and they said that about it. I accept that. Everybody has to start looking like this is unbelievable. This is a time where those people that used to stand on the corner with the cardboard sign saying the end is near, those people used to be looked at like they're crazy. Now almost every single person is thinking it in their back of their head, but they don't want to say anything because they don't want to be that guy. Unfortunately, we actually have, you are crazy and you are a conspiracy theorist if you do not believe that the world is ending right now. You realize that? They say that we're heading towards, the official narrative is now that our resources are running out, that everything is coming to an end. We have so many years left. We have climate is going nuts to the point where we won't be able to survive at some point. You have elites flying to space, to Mars, sending everybody off. And you actually have the sea dying, things going extinct, all of this. This is the narrative. That's the actual story. So if you say we're not in end times, you are actually more crazy than anyone. And here's why. Well, all of us need to move to bigger areas and be more efficient. And we need to stop making such a big footprint. This is what they're saying. And what's even crazier is that just in a short amount of time, in just a couple of years, everything is going to change so drastically. And it is very easy to change drastically when you have control. And over the last 2 years, they proved they could get control in a matter of weeks. Based on social medias and any kind of information that they put out. You realize that? What if they were just completely lying about everything, right? Doesn't matter. If you own every piece of social media, then if you have enough repetition and enough information flowing, and if you control any negative outbursts, you can literally control the world. We're now dealing with global companies. It's not country versus country. We're dealing with the entire world, with an exception of a couple, and those couple, I think, have infiltrated pretty much every company. Just want to show you a tweet here that I did just a couple hours ago. This is also, I believe, Jack Posibak or something posted it. Posobiec. I want this is a big wake up for me and anyone else. It says this is why people need to wake up. This is a picture. Stats. Countries which share greater trade with United States, China, no data. So all these blue places were trading with the U.S. This is the year 2000. Okay? Soak this in, people. Australia, all of these little islands. Talking about this entire area up here. Almost the whole continent of Africa. Almost all of South Africa. Okay? Now let's go down to 2020. If that isn't proving exactly what we're saying, and again, social media is going to tell you otherwise. I don't know if you follow or if anybody knows this, but China owns almost all of these gigantic media companies, and they have ties into Netflix, they have ties into Disney Plus, they have ties into pretty much any media company or the actual production companies that make these videos. And if you remember just about a month ago, which I actually found out late about this John Cena apology. In fact, it was right around the same time. I actually went and watched Fast and Furious, and I don't normally watch those movies. I went and watched it with my best friend of 25 years, with his wife and some of our friends. And we went to watch one of the worst but best movies ever because it was so bad it was good. And John Cena was in that movie, right? Well, people didn't know why he literally learned Chinese to apologize. And what was he apologizing for? Well, he said publicly, he basically said something that asserted that Taiwan was its own country. That was his big, this is why he was groveling and saying, so sorry. This is somebody who, again, was a very patriotic guy, was a wrestler for God's sakes. And he was groveling, saying, so sorry, I made such a huge mistake. John, or whatever it was. You know why? Because they were going to blackball him from all of Hollywood. If somebody like that has to grovel and make a video apology to China who's in these massive blockbuster films, what does that tell you? That tells you that he can't even say Taiwan is its own country. The White House, for gosh sakes, took down a tweet that implied that Taiwan was its own country, and people still don't believe that they're going to take it over. We're going to cover something here in a second that's going to show you exactly what I'm talking about. They just threatened China, just threatened Japan with using nuclear first and continuously until they submit. These aren't just words. These are basically, China is telling them fact-wise that they are taking Taiwan. And is the USA really going to stand up? Because I'm pretty sure that our wants and needs are all lined up right now. They already have people in our government. I mean, that is a fact, because guess what? Every country does, right? The USA has spies in China. They have spies here. But what is the percentages? If we did have that book that the CIA or NSA had, I bet you there's a whole lot more than you think. So this is one of the scariest things I've ever seen. All of the countries that used to trade with the United States are now trading with China. This isn't just China getting more customers, it's taking ours. That is incredible. So wake up, people. We are about to see some massive change, and we are going to be herded like cows. Russia says it successfully tested hypersonic missile praised by Putin. Excuse me. It says that Russia said on Monday it had successfully tested the Tsirkon or Zircon hypersonic cruise missile, a weapon President Vladimir Putin has touted as part of the new generation of missile systems without equal in the world. The defense ministry said in a statement that the missile had been fired from the Admiral Gorshkov, a warship located in the White Sea. Then traveled at around 7 times the speed of sound before hitting a ground target on the coastline of the Barents Sea, more than 217 miles away. It says, quote, the tactical and technical characteristics of the Tsirkon or Zircon missile were confirmed during the test, the ministry said. Some Western experts have questioned how advanced Russia's new generation of weapons is, while recognizing the combination of speed, maneuverability, and altitude of the hypersonic missiles makes them difficult to track and intercept. Putin announced an array of new hypersonic weapons in 2018 in one of his most bellicose speeches in years, saying that they could hit almost any point in the world and evade U.S.-built missile shields. The following year, he threatened to deploy hypersonic missiles on ships, submarines that could lurk outside U.S. territorial waters if the United States moved to deploy immediate-range nuclear weapons in Europe. Washington has not deployed such missiles in Europe, but Moscow is worried it might.
So this backs up 100% what he said about a month ago, and we reported it, when he said they were mission ready, I believe is the term, or something like that. They were ready and they're deployed. And so they just proved it. They fired one off of a ship and went straight to a target, and it traveled at the high speed of hypersonic, right? So it's there. They're done. They have it.
And it's right in front of us. This is exactly what we covered. And over time, everything starts happening. And you know why? Because everything is so obvious that you're able to call it months and years before. But then at the time, say a month ago or 2 months ago or 10 months ago, when we say these things, the narrative is the opposite. They only tell you when they want to tell you. And guess what? You know for a fact before they tell you. But your mind always doubts if they say, oh, this is not what the deal is, then it puts that seed of doubt in your head, especially when it's coming from the talking heads at these agencies that are supposed to be reliable news agencies. There's a reason why no one trusts the media anymore. It's not because of this president or that president or people saying it's fake. It's because everything has a slant. Everything has a money-tinted slant on it. NASA finds mysterious system beneath Antarctica connected to whole Earth. It says the icy continent is home to some 5,000 scientists around the year who study the unspoilt region to learn more about Earth's history and the effects of climate change. Its barren landscape gives them access to a unique habitat where they can complete their research despite temperatures dropping as low as negative 90 degrees Celsius, but under the frozen surface, there is a lot more going on than most realize. Scientists at NASA have announced that they've discovered, of course, 2 new lakes buried underneath the Antarctic ice sheet. They form a part of a vast network of subterranean waterways hidden between 1.2 and 2.5 miles of ice. One thing that comes to mind, Dex, is like, I wonder if we have these massive... Oh, well, I know we have massive bases up there. That's just my guess. I know it's a fact that we have bases, but I just wonder if we have these massive 2-mile deep bases in Antarctica. It says study leader Professor Matthew Siegfried, a geophysicist at Colorado School of Mines, says, quote, "It's not just the ice sheet we're talking about. These are the new lakes." It says, "We're really talking about a water system that is connected to the whole Earth system." Dex, what do they mean by this? That it's connected to the actual, that it's all like...
Yeah, it sounds to me like it's a waterway, underground waterway that's connected. I'm kind of confused. I mean, this is the South Pole. There's ocean in between there and everywhere else, depending on how you view the world, right? And so, what are they talking about? Is there water under the ocean that's connected?
Are they talking about a secret system underneath all of it? I'm a bit confused.
Or are they just saying there's lakes there, which is kind of interesting? I mean, there is that is a continent, so it is land, and it, for it to have lakes would make sense. But we don't see much there because it's all covered in ice and snow.
Well, I just wonder. Somebody else mentioned this to me, and we were in a kind of a DM debate here. What if there was a system that they had to make it look like the water was rising, or that they could temporarily do this due to this system, due to something that was underneath where we can see a system that could make you believe something that's happening that's not, and make it happen a lot quicker. Just a thought, and it was... I'm not going to explain how he explained it, but it was an incredibly smart guy who had 2 master's degrees. And again, neither one of them was in this department, but the guy was just incredibly smart. And the way he explained, I might have him call in. Again, some really weird stuff going on. And then, of course, Russia's new fighter design seen uncovered for the first time. Now, it says the biggest story going on in the military aviation world right now is Russia's new light to medium weight fighter that has been hyped up for what seems to have been an incredibly effective and glitzy media campaign. Now, for the first time, we have gotten a look at the design in an uncovered state prior to its official unveiling. You can read our prior analysis of Russia's checkmate fighter, which appears to be a Sukhoi product. It says a new video from the presentation area will be likely a dramatic unveiling. So we have pictures of this, but we don't have, I believe we don't have the video, right? Dex?
Well, the video's here. It's in the article, and it's it's also I guess linked inside this. We could show. I don't know if we've got permission to, though, or not.
Yeah, so just to be careful, because I don't want some Russian jet video to ruin a 2-hour show. Go check this thing out. Obviously, we've been covering both sides, and I guess my point is that everyone is underestimating the enemy. Everybody says that Russia is so backwards and behind, and China is so backwards and behind. I don't think they realize how much money they have made. Where does this, China's weak and China can't make anything? Chinese are some of the smartest people in the world, and the Chinese who live here in the United States are some of the, best, as far as best performing in school and colleges. And that is one thing culturally that they're strong at, is school and making sure that that's a priority. It's culturally like school or anything. So you're dealing with the smartest people in the world. where does this old school thing keep sticking around that China doesn't know how to make anything, that they're, I don't know. It just seems like it's something that goes back from, kind of stereotypes or something. I don't know. Right now, they are making hand over fist money from the entire planet. Showing you that picture just a minute ago of 2020 to 2020, 2000, the year 2000 to 2020, they have taken the whole world. They have literally taken customers from the United States. Now they are trading with almost every country in the world besides the United States, Canada, or at least, that's again, Canada still trading with us. We still have Canada, but oh wait, now they're dealing with Canada and they're about to start these new things. So it's like, we're basically surrounded. It's insanity. Now we've got the Navy ships enter the English Channel. It says the sea-based ship Macron and Arndt's most advanced frigate are supposedly headed for the Baltic Sea. Now, Dex, we followed this. What do you think they're going to do? Do you think that they're going to let this go through, or do you think they're going to give it crap or follow it or try to mess with it?
Well, I mean, this is it's international route, so they have no reason to prevent them from going.
They didn't previously either.
Yeah, and so, they're going up the same way, Russia comes down from up there. So I won't be surprised that it goes through, but it's also, they're expanding. It's interesting to see them so far from their country. Usually they're just hanging out in their, in near the Hormuz, right? But they're not, now they're branching out and they're heading all the way up towards Russia, right? So
now remember this. I don't know if they're just using the same pictures, but about a month or 2 months ago, they talked about this, one of the same kind of ships that is basically a frigate that was turned into a military Navy ship. And it was one of their most advanced at that time. So I wonder, is this the same exact ship that... this is the Aaron's Macron. It says the former oil tanker, the IRINS Macron. So this is the same ship that previously went that everybody was watching. And then remember, they were monitoring the Macron. And then 4 days later, they just randomly had a ship blow up and sink, right? We watched it.
Yeah, that's right. It was their oldest and biggest ship that had allegedly had, a lot of their stuff on it, and it was suspect as to why it went down.
And just right after we announced, that it leaked that we were monitoring them, and the reason why we all knew about this is because Iran publicly said, hey, why are you monitoring us? We're going through international waters. Why is the U.S., following us? We have the right to go wherever. If we want to go to, of course, where were they headed? They were headed for Venezuela, right?
Yeah, that's what they thought. And then they basically turned around before they got there.
Yep. And we were suspecting that they were watching them because who knows, they could have had WMDs or whatever. That was at least the talk back then. Then, 4 days later, one of their biggest and strongest Navy ships up and just sinks and, explodes somehow. And then that happened, and then they turned around their boat. So now they're doing it again. What the heck is going on here? I don't know, but again, they thought before that they were bringing it to Venezuela. So why are they going into the English Channel now?
Well, I mean, look, I'm total speculation here, but worst case scenario, what if they're taking a trip up to Russia to buy some stuff that they don't own, and they're going to come home with some weapons they've never had before that make big booms that we don't want them to have, right? And Russia's more than happy to give it to them.
You know it. Well, again, we will follow the story. There's only so much. There's Foogle family that follow these boats and do the different programs. If you see anything strange, let us know and tweet me at Marfoogle. If you're not following me over on Twitter, make sure to go do so. Again, they take people away. Make sure if you are already following to make sure to go check if you're following. Because I've been up to 25,000 followers, I think 5 times, and I'm now at 19,000 again. So they take as many as I get every single day. So make sure you're still following. Did I launch a new stealth missile boat? Again, just in a second here, we're actually going to be talking about the threat. We have actually incredible stuff here. We have China is buying up American farms. WW3 fears as China threatens nuke. And then Philippines challenges a Chinese warship. And, of course, U.S. Air Force to send dozens of F-22s. Let me go over to the chat. I do want to say thank you, a very special thank you to KY Mountain. Says, update on new Discord Dex is working hard on. Dex, do you want to give your... It's not a Discord, by the way. It's our own thing.
Yeah, we're still plugging away at it, but it's our own thing that hopefully will have the capability to get the fam together back in communities that are around their locations.
So again, one thing that is actually going to require is a whole lot of volunteers, because we are taking that on. So we're going to need to have a ton of people helping. So that is something that is I don't think people realize how big of a project that we have taken on. So thank you guys for the support. Again, thank you, KY Mountain. I appreciate that. And then Lisa K23, Car Show. Hey, thank you guys for the Ninja Guineas over on DLive. Marf and Dex, 100% the bee's knees. Well, thank you, Texas Rob. Appreciate that. And I appreciate you also tweeting and retweeting our stuff. Thank you. Kelly2334, thank you as well. Massive support from the DLive fam. Sammy Lee says, much love, Foogle fam. Thanks, Adam Dex, for all you do. And Release the Quacken. Appreciate you. Jammer1, hafifin.com/Marfia. Highfiven.com/Marfia. I love it. Let's see here. Ski Ball, Cycle 25, almost here. That's correct. We're actually going to have a guest on at some point here, hopefully. And then we have Zippy Moons, going to listen till I fall asleep. I'll catch replay tomorrow night. Blowtorch, Barbie, Bear Claws, and the rest of the fam. And then Chicky R, haven't seen you in a minute, says 15-month sub streak, even longer on YouTube. I know, you've been around for years now. Texas Rob 49, Marf and Dex and Mods. And then, of course, Release the Quacken again. Thank you guys. For all the people that support or the people that don't, the people that like and share, I just hope you guys realize that that is extremely important. If you find value in the show and then you see how much work we put into it, please consider pressing the like button. It does help. We tested it. It does help our reach. That's all we can ask for. We don't care about, we don't care about views. We care about reaching new people that we've never reached before. Again, the subscriber part, that goes up and down and varies. But the new people, that is what we're trying to reach. So please help us by making sure to press that like and hit that notification bell that tells the YouTube that you actually want to see our content every single time we put it out. And then big thank you to Craig L for doing a PayPal. I appreciate you. Thank you so much for your support. And then Tracy Q, I also appreciate you for going over to PayPal. And then ambertracks.com says survival supplies, waterproof Bibles, bunkers, off-grid power, bulk freeze-dried food, canned water, etc. ambertracks.com, USA only. Thank you, Ambertracks, for the support, and I hope your small company is doing well. Well, actually, I don't know if it's small or not, but Dawn B, and then, again, Ambertracks, I appreciate that. All right, getting back into it, did they launch a mystery stealth catamaran? The missile corvette, according to the open source intelligence analyzed by Hy Sutton, an expert who runs the Cover Shores website. He said that this happened because many were distracted by monitoring the Iran's McLean warships sailing near Britain this week. Meanwhile, new boats have gone out into the sea in the last few weeks. Quote, the big stealth catamaran design boat Koshem from June 27th to July 2nd, Sutton said that this ship is described as one of the several ships under construction called the Shahed Soleimani class ship. Dex, did you catch that? They named it the Soleimani class ship. And it says at 65 meters, it will clearly wield anti-ship missiles and air defenses. And we're not talking about like a catamaran, like, a sailboat or something. These catamaran, the bottom part is this, but these are advanced ships. Where the heck are they getting this stuff? Or how are they making this stuff, right? Again, the public thinks that some of these countries are just so backwards they can't make anything. If they have money, they can buy this stuff. They can have people come from out of countries. They can steal straight up U.S. designers, fly them to the I country, and have them design and build the exact same product with the exact same resources. That's why I've never gotten the China thing. It doesn't make sense. In April, satellite imageries from Planet Labs, also analyzed by Sutton, pointed out that it contained a third of Iran's new catamaran designed for this class of ships. This lesser-known shipyard near the Strait of Hormuz, which again, right there in the Strait of Hormuz, are you kidding, is linked to the IRGC and has been significantly expanded, he writes. This is not the first catamaran the Iranian Navy has put into the sea. According to the Thomas Newdick of The Drive, says that the U.S. Navy released a video in April of the IRGC ship called Shahed Naziri, which I believe is another guy we took out, harassing U.S. ships. The Shahed Naziri is a larger catamaran-type high-speed design that looks like an armed with a 20-millimeter cannon and has a heliport on the back deck. So basically, they're upgrading their stuff, and we're seeing it in real time. And then we have the U.S. Air Force to send dozens of F-22 fighter jets to the Pacific amid tensions with China. So right now, as we speak, I just had a friend email me and said that his buddy just got deployed, and what he was told is that we are basically going to be head-to-head in the sea, at least, with China, and that they're trying to butt heads. So this is something that I don't think the news is covering yet, but now we can at least confirm with two different people that they were told that we are going to be butting heads with Chinese ships. So even if that's just like a chest-pounding thing, they said that we were going to put Navy boats up to their boats and that we were going to go in international waters where we should be able to go, but they were told that, hey, we're going to go push some buttons. So that's something that I believe in the next few days that we're going to see a story that reflects that. So, yeah, again, I think that you heard that here first. I do believe the person I was talking to, I've talked to them multiple times over the last 2 years. And again, they've been on every single time. So it says the United States Air Force is sending more than 24 F-22 stealth fighters to an exercise in the Western Pacific this month, an unusually large deployment of the powerful jets that analysts say sends a strong message to a possible adversary in China. Pacific Air Forces in Hawaii this week said approximately 25 F-22 Raptors from the Hawaii Air National Guard and Joint Air Base Elmendorf-Richardson, Alaska, will deploy this month to Guam and Tinian Islands for Operation Pacific Iron 2021. Dex, how many drills have we had? And this seems like every base is deploying.
Yeah, it seems like we got a drill every week at this point. But yeah, this is a big one they're getting geared up for. Everything
is in the Pacific, and everything is going head-to-head with China and Russia. You've got them flying by Ukraine and actually going in there. And now we have some of the Fugel fam members looking into the U.S. military jets that are going by Ukraine. There is a lot that's not being reported right now. So again, if you have a story for us and you want to break it here, let us know. Adam at marfooglenews.com or Dex at marfooglenews.com, or send it to both. I think that there is a lot more coming. It says the F-22s are the fifth generation combat jets, the world's most advanced fighter aircraft, and they are headed towards the Pacific. And then we have Philippines challenges Chinese warship in the South China Sea. The Philippines Coast Guard said it drove away a Chinese warship in the South China Sea in another sign of tension between the two nations in the disputed waters. In a statement Monday citing a July 13th report, the Coast Guard said it had sent a verbal challenge to a Chinese warship spotted at Marie-Louis Bank. It says that the Chinese vessel eventually moved away from the area, the statement said. The foreign vessel sent a radio message identifying itself as Chinese Navy Warship 189 and asked the Philippine ship tailing it to keep distance. It says the two nations' vessels have been locked in a standoff in the South China Sea for months after hundreds of Chinese ships swarmed the disputed territory early this year. The Philippines has repeatedly protested the ship's presence and has been backed by the U.S., while Beijing has said that its actions were normal and legitimate. Now, if you haven't seen the satellite photos of these ships, they are as big as the photo of that oil tanker. These are, of course, they say that they're normal oil tanker size kind of cargo ships, but they are actually manned with militia or military. So you've got these giant boats manned to the teeth with militia or military. And of course, they're all lined up and actually basically touching. I believe they've got their rubber kind of dock bumpers between them, but they're all connected. So they make a actual wall of 200 giant ships. I mean, you're talking about ships the size of a football field, and they're lined up 200 of them in the South China Sea. That is a big deal. They are obviously pushing their weight. And then, of course, WW3 fears as China threatens to nuke Japan on the eve of Olympics if it intervenes in the Taiwan conflict. It says China is threatening to nuke Japan on the eve of the Olympics if it intervenes with Taiwan. It says the Communist Republic said that it would declare full-scale war against Japan if Taiwan disagreement escalates, stoking, of course, WW3 fears. It comes after earlier this month, China vowed to invade Taiwan and even explained how to do it. We actually covered this in a 3-stage, plan. It says the article in a state-controlled publication offered a glimpse of a terrifying 3-stage plan to pave the way for an invasion force to storm the breakaway island. President Xi Jinping pledged a, quote, complete reunification with Taiwan as he delivered a speech to mark 100 years of the Chinese Communist Party. It says any invasion would represent a serious escalation of hostilities and could drag in the U.S. through its pact to defend Taiwan. But again, I don't think we are, or at least under the current admin, I don't think we're going to defend. They're gonna be taking it. Think about this: John Cena apologizing, groveling, even probably hiring some translator or somebody to teach him manual Chinese for him to say that long sentence so he could apologize for simply calling Taiwan its own country, is because, of course, you've got that this is going to be a fact soon, that Taiwan is going to be part of China. And of course, China is basically saying that anyone who says that China or Taiwan is an independent state, this is how strong they think of this, anyone who says that they're an independent state is an enemy of China. And again, John Cena, that means that, you know, all these movie companies that are owned by China, almost all of them have ties with China, he wouldn't have a job ever in his life. So it says to me that even before, like behind the scenes, the secret stuff that we don't see, they consider Taiwan theirs. I mean, not just like, oh, no, that's going to be ours. That is going to be China. It is literally going to be China. Washington's regional allies such as South Korea, Japan, and Australia could also be sucked into the conflict, as would NATO forces such as the UK, because the US is a member of the alliance. But the video channel, allegedly approved by the Chinese Communist Party with close ties to the People's Liberation Army, PLA, took the anger to the next level. In the new video, now deleted, a narrator said, "We will use nuclear bombs first. We will use nuclear bombs continuously." Again, let's quote this right here. We will use nuclear bombs first. We will use nuclear bombs continuously. We will do this until Japan declares unconditional surrender for the second time. When we liberate Taiwan, if Japan dares to intervene by force, and look, when we liberate Taiwan, they're telling us they're about to do it. It's a fact in their mind, and they're not going to back up. It's not like they're making threats and for 20 years, oh, remember when we said we were going to take Taiwan? That means they're going to do it. And guess what? People go, oh my God, then that means it's WW3. Not if the U.S. doesn't stand up for it. But will Japan? Is Japan going to also do this? I don't know. Is Japan bought out by China? I don't think so. So if Japan gets involved, Dex, let me ask you this. If Japan actually intervenes and they start getting in war, does that not mean that we will get involved either way? So even if JB, our current prez, is, Beijing Bob or whatever, if Japan gets involved, aren't we supposed to get involved?
Well, I would think we have a strong pact with Japan to protect them, right?
I mean,
so
it seems like there's multiple ways this could happen.
Attacks Japan, we wouldn't back up Japan.
It sounds like there's multiple ways that this could happen. When we liberate Taiwan.
And they don't have their own nukes, so they rely on us to protect them.
If Japan dares to intervene by force, even if it deploys one soldier, one plane, or one ship, we will not only return fire, but we will also wage full-scale war against Japan itself. So these are, and this is China. This isn't these just narrow threats. They're drawing the line. They're literally drawing the line. These are red lines. Let's see here. Mary Kelly Remmel, thank you so much for supporting Independent. I appreciate you. Brent Esk, thank you for subscribing. Joshua Knight, thank you for subscribing. Barry McDaniel, thank you for subscribing. Stephen McMahon says, God bless all in this house. Nurse Tara, thank you for subscribing. Uper Viking, keep your vibrations high. We are drowned out by all the negative noise around us. Whose plan are you following, man or God's? I love all of us. Love. Uper Viking, love you too. Misfit Satanas, thank you so much for subscribing. Able Bodied, thank you. And by the way, thank you for being here for so long. You've been here 3 years now. Heads up, Fugel fam. FEMA and FCC will conduct an EAS test of emergency alert systems on 8/11. Participants are required to participate in the EAS test. Love y'all. Take care and God bless.
Yeah, that's who we got it from.
Oh, perfect. Thank you, Able-Bodied. And then thank you for sticking around, and thank you for thinking of us when you came with that. Again, lots of great Fugel fam. It is us. Again, we are a group. You guys are involved in this. Be a part of something bigger. China is buying up American farms. Washington wants to crack down. Of course they are. They've bought up our ports. They've bought up our everything. Bipartisan pressure is building to stop foreign nationals from purchasing American farm operations and receiving taxpayer subsidies. This is insanity. It says the push to drain China's influence from the U.S. economy has reached America's farm country, as congressional lawmakers from both parties are looking at measures to crack down on foreign purchases of prime agricultural real estate. House lawmakers recently advanced legislation to that effect, warning that China's presence in the American food system poses a national security risk. And key Senate lawmakers have already shown interest in efforts to keep American farms in American hands. So I don't even think that this should be a debate, Dex. Honestly, I don't understand how so many countries are letting China buy, and we're talking about the Chinese government. We're not talking about Chinese people. We're talking about the Chinese government purchasing, which is technically our adversary, is purchasing infrastructure in our damn country, including running ports.
And no offense, but we're the ones doing it. Like every time we buy China, right, we're just sending our money over, right? Every time you go to the store and you don't find something, and it's really hard to nowadays to find stuff that's only made in America. Right. But like you showed the graph earlier. Right. The trade is huge now with China. That means the money is flowing in. And when they have all that money, then they turn around and they diversify and they buy up the things that give them more power, whether it's land or farm or military equipment or, build the biggest navies. I mean, they've got a never ending machine and a never ending supply right now. They have the money tree that just keeps on giving.
Yeah, for those, there's now over 6,000 watching. For those that came in late, this is a graph showing countries which share greater trade with either the United States in the blue or China in red. It doesn't look that bad. Oh my gosh! What is this? Do you see it? This is incredible. This is 2020. Where's the blue? And look, it's like it's coming this way. Watch this and this turn red. 2020? 2000. This is why people need to wake up. Unbelievable. And there's, of course, Jeff Bezos will fly to space tomorrow on his Blue Origin New Shepard rocket. Now, this is actually, let's see here. It says flew to space on July 11th. Actually, Dex, is this from today or from yesterday? It's going to be.
Yeah, I thought it's today. I think he's going tomorrow.
Okay, all right. I didn't know if we missed it, because why would he go on a Tuesday? It says that Blue Origin, Jeff Bezos is go for launch. Amazon founder and brother Mark meet with Blue Origin's New Shepard rocket crew a day before flying 66 miles above the surface of the Earth, 13 miles higher than rival Richard Branson. Just so you know, I don't care, but I will cover this. As far as this is a different system. It's a rocket that goes up instead of Richard Branson's kind of plane that then goes rocket. I'm sure everybody's going to be watching this. There was a petition of over 100,000 people that petitioned with change.org that he didn't come back to Earth. So not everybody loves Jeff Bezos, but of course everybody's going to be talking about this. I think that this is the smallest story out of everything, right? But who knows? There are some people that do follow it, so of course we're covering it. And then it's
actually at 9 a.m. 9 a.m. tomorrow morning Eastern time, so 6 a.m. your time. Yeah, so we'll end up covering that tomorrow. Hyperloop zips commuters between cities in minutes, moving as many as 30-lane highways with a levitation tech. The Hyperloop systems will move as many people as a 30-lane highway in just minutes. Speaking to Routers on Monday, Josh Geigel said that the upcoming transport technology would move, quote, massive amounts of people at the speed of an aircraft inside of levitating capsules. It says he will also explain that it was like to ride inside of one of the pods after taking part of a test run at a Virgin facility in Nevada last year alongside fellow staff member Sarah Lucian. From starting this in a garage 7 years ago to drawing up on a whiteboard to sitting inside of it, it was all very surreal. The acceleration was similar to a sports car, and we were giddy. The biggest piece of the test was that the world saw that people get on a Hyperloop and saw two people get off. It says the biggest piece of the test was that the world saw two people get on a Hyperloop and saw two people get off. Until that moment, everyone wondered, could it be safe for people? Now we know that it is. Get this, the pods can reach upwards of 670 miles per hour and can transport passengers and goods between city in minutes. It says that was actually a Reuters reporter that got to go on the ride. Is that what I'm hearing? Yeah. Yeah, that's kind of crazy. I mean, that would be really neat to experience. I don't know if I want to be the first person to go 670 miles per hour on that, but yeah. So you're talking about, there's a comparison here. It says they hit speeds of 107 miles per hour on a 1,600 foot test track. So he didn't even get to go the full thing. It says marking a huge milestone for Virgin Hyperloop and Sir Richard. So so now you've got Elon Musk doing these tunnels with the Boring Company. You've got Virgin doing this. How long do you think it's going to be before Bezos makes these underground tunnels too?
What is actually happening here? It seems like they're making an underground system so you can travel from place to place. Now, just think in the future of what they predict, that we'll have these mega massive cities where everybody's going to be packed in like sardines, and all of the rest of the country will be green or whatever because of the change, right? And we have from one city to another, you could go from, Seattle to Florida in just a few, under an hour or an hour and a half or 2 hours or whatever it is, underground in a Hyperloop.
That's faster than current airplanes, right?
Yeah, 670 miles per hour is huge. The speed of sound is 2,000, so you're almost going almost half the speed of sound, right? So I'm just wondering if they're setting up for a world where we're going to be either underground or somewhere else.
Yeah, it's really close because it's the speed of sound 767, but it's right there at it, right? So that's crazy. Imagine if you're in a tunnel and they actually can go fast enough to break that sound barrier. Would you hear that? And would that be? I don't know if you'd hear it.
Well, let me ask
on it,
how
somebody else. But
how far across is the United States? That's 3,000 miles across, right?
Yeah, something like that. So
670 miles. It would be basically a 4-hour trip in a pod from Seattle all the way to Florida or something like that. And say from Oregon, if it was 300 or 400 miles, in less than an hour, you would get somewhere. 30 minutes. That's crazy.
Yeah, and it sounds like they're talking about moving a lot more people than an airplane does. An airplane's like 300 people, but they're talking like 30 lanes of highway.
Get this.
That's a lot. That's a lot of people.
It says this is not 10 or 20 years away. Geigel said cities can start incorporating this into their planning right now. I'm telling you, they have a huge... This is so fast. It says, I couldn't put my finger on who will be the very first, but in addition to America, we are also looking at places like India, Europe, and the Middle East. We are probably looking at a time frame of 2025 to 2027. They are doing this right away. Why? This is incredible. Look, it says, this is how Elon Musk described it. It says, a cross between a Concorde, a railgun, and an air hockey table. Because it floats. They're levitating, and it's magnetic, so it pushes, and both of them push. If you've ever seen a maglev train, but these things are going to be a pod in a tunnel, and it's just going to shoot through it. This is incredible stuff. Yeah, absolutely insane.
And it sounds like to me, and it was just pointed out to me by one of the Fugel fan members, Roaming Wolf, that these are going to be in a vacuum tunnel. So if the tunnel is a vacuum, there's no air, there's no pressure, or there's pressure, but the air is taken out, so there's no friction, right? That's how it's moving so fast. And there might not be a sonic boom if you do hit the sound barrier. That
is insane. Whoa! Craziness over here. Redhead with dreads. Redhead with Dreads just bestowed the highest compliment givable on DLive there. Just did a Ninjet. Says, I volunteer for the new platform, NC Foothills Triad. Love Fugel fam. Thanks, Adam and Dex. Redhead with Dreads, thank you so much for your massive support of the channel. That is not the first time you've done that in the last year, so thank you so much. Support like yours that goes above and beyond is literally what keeps us going, so thank you so much. Tower Bear, ask yourself, what about the money we owe China? What happens when they ask for their money back? That's a good point there as well. Kelly2334, End Time says, we just buried my daughter's guinea pig. Was rough. Oh, I'm so sorry. Especially with a child's pet. I'm just glad that it wasn't. I first read that, I thought it was something else, and I was going to be really hurt. But yeah, guinea pigs too. It's like the first hamster, first guinea pig, first animal that they have to bury. And I remember the first one. Mine was Houdini. It was a hamster and it died, and we put it in a shoebox and went out to the backyard. You don't forget that. Kelly2334, thank you, and Release the Quackin'. I appreciate you so much. Texas Rob, again, thanks for the bee's knees compliment there. And then, of course, Tower Bear. Cannot say enough. Thank you. Terrifying video shows tornadoes of sex-starved mosquitoes blotting out the sun of millions of insects hunts mates. Okay, Dex, I'm going to have you explain this one.
I think that says it all. Maybe show the picture. But apparently, this is a lot of mosquitoes, and this is in eastern Russia. But I could just only imagine like this giant swarm of mosquitoes that looks like almost like a mini tornado coming down the path towards you, and they're obviously looking for their mates. And yeah, this is just not something you see every day, right?
Wow, chicka, wow, wow. Wow, chicka, wow, wow. That's a good time.
Bet you get a lot of mosquito bites if you were there.
That is pretty. It looks like a tornado. That is insane. Yeah. That's I was trying to come up with a joke. Ilea, where is Ilea for a pun for this? I was thinking of like a. Yeah, no, don't have one. Not on the spot. I'm probably going to think of one during the shoutro. Mary Kelly Remnall, again, thank you so much. Just to go over, I wanted to make sure that I got everybody. Thank you, Winton Dupree, Raymond Webb, Sherry Devine. Thank you for over 6,000 people joining us. I don't know if that we got suggested during the live or something, but thank you. Stiletto Czar says, knowledge increasing, people going to and fro, nation against nation. It's all in the Bible. Pray up. Fam, love to fam, nothing surprises God. Zoned Beauty says, love the time and energy you and Dex put into every show. Been watching you for years. Zoned Beauty, thank you so much. Ace Maduro says, I live in the university city, and there is a large population of Asian students. Have heard through the grapevine that China covers the cost for some students to get multiple degrees while here. Very well. That sounds possible, yeah. Why do you think they've closed so much off, says Defrustrated. They want to stop our water, food, and financial soon, Marv. And then, let's see here. Hey, Adam, DM Walken and I watching. On a lighter note, where did you get your Lego shelving? It's great. It's actually a glass shelf that's, it's actually made in China. Sorry. It is a hypocritical thing. But it did have a made in China sticker on the top. But I bought it from somebody out of their house. It was a Craigslist thing. And then, hey, Adam, thank you again. God bless in all this house. Mark Kennedy says Twitter Patriots at John Walsh 547744351. I will check you out. By the way, thanks, Mark. And then Uber Viking, again, thank you. Bass Shadow, I think I missed you. Just sending some love for Adam and the Fugel fam. Much love, everyone. Have a great week. Tico and Taco, Natalie Kennedy, I believe I missed you. And that's huge. Did a $49 super sticker there. Thank you, and thank you. And then if I'm MIA, I'm headed to Sturgis. Love you all, Fugel fam. Adam Dex mods. I'm getting last minute stuff done. Eliza Nunes, I believe I missed you as well. It didn't show me yours. And then much love to all. Christina Faith, Linda Sloat, thank you for being the last ones out last time.
That was Gone Girl, wasn't it?
That was Gone Girl 777.
Yeah.
I missed that completely. Her and Eliza Nunes both popped in very early, and Natalie Kennedy. So thank you so much. And again, it looks like they will be the top 3 over on YouTube. Dex, can you tell us about some of the web-only content that we have here?
Oh, wow. Yeah, there's a lot going on. And, you know, it seems kind of crazy because we're still talking to bean counters, right? They're still counting and counting. And lots of people are now saying there's new lawsuits. There's new things that they think the numbers are just so off. So go check it out. We can't talk about that stuff here. MarfoogleNews.com. Click on the thumbnail for the show. Scroll down. Look for web-only content. We put together the stuff that we can't cover, whether it's too hot for TV or it's just additional content we didn't have time to get to. Take a look. There's more than what we've already covered here in the show. So go to MarfoogleNews.com. Click on the thumbnail for this show. Scroll down. And don't forget, click on the last thumbnail because there was content there too. right? If you didn't get it every day, you're missing it. So make sure you're checking out what we've put together, what we found there. Things about the Popo, especially in Atlanta, what's going on there. Everyone's unfavorite doctor is being talked about, and plenty of things happening with
so
those
much
encounters.
This is like incredible. And so just say it did change. You're already, what, a year into it? Like, what if, just hypothetically, because they said our goal is not to, even if it completely shows that it was wrong, whatever else, which this is what is kind of reporting, right? That, would you want to do that? Well, just think about this. Hypothetically, if you're running for class president, right? And they do a thing and they name the other person that. Well, then after, say it's a 1 week term. Well, after 6 days, they find out, oh, it's wrong. Well, now they're going to replace you. You can actually take that place, but then you only get to be class president for 1 day. Wouldn't that be that would be kind of crappy, right? Like, what if we find out 2 years in or something that they go, oh, okay, well, we need to switch. By the way, that under the laws and stuff, we don't even know what would happen there, but that would kind of suck. That wouldn't be a full term. And then could he serve a half term, the next time or something?
I could only imagine that even if the numbers were to change, that it would be turmoil for years while they hash that out in detail as to whether or not something would or wouldn't happen, and it might even be irrelevant by that point.
What if JB did the full 4 years and we didn't even have a thing next time, and since he was owed presidency or something, just the next time would be him? Yeah, I
don't think the law works that way.
I know.
I don't think that would be.
I'm just saying, he got that would be getting.
Yeah, this is uncharted territory, right? It really is. So that's why it's interesting to watch.
No, it is charted. It happens in third world countries all the time, Dex.
yeah.
I mean,
uncharted over here.
Yeah,
for sure, right? Like when has this ever been a mainstream topic? So it's worth, no matter which side of the fence you're on, watching and seeing like what's really happening or what could happen, no matter what side you believe, right?
Yeah, no, I get you. I think I just had John Bon Jovi has just subscribed. I don't think you're the real John Bon Jovi, but if you are, thank you for subscribing. Brent asks, and then David War Turtle says nothing. Just had a big show of support there. Dorothy Tucker though says that looks like a torpedo. A torpedo. That was a good pun. Thank you, Dorothy. But you're a dork keto. Oh, dorketo.
That sounds like a new item on Taco Bell's menu.
A torpedo? Yeah. It probably comes in a $5 pack with 2 hard tacos. Okay. Moving on. Thank you, Dex, and I appreciate your help. It is now officially time for the shoutro. Dex, it's not an outro. It's not a shout out. What is it?
It's a shoutro.
Longer on the O next time, but pretty much it worked. Thank you, everybody. I appreciate all of you that came today. Thank you for the massive support from you guys. We are independent, so thank you. And if you're new to this show, remember, it's all positive down there. We need to start grouping up. Oh, before we go, I had a really crazy dream of a burning tree. And to be honest, it was pretty crazy because I have only read the Bible twice all the way through. Once was, in before 5th grade, and then once was above. And before 5th grade, that was kind of like in the church camp and everything. But I actually, in this dream, I saw the tree wasn't burning, but it was on fire. And that is the story of the burning bush. The bush was on fire but wasn't burning. So I don't know. It was pretty trippy. There was hundreds of people around me and there was nothing but foundations, and we're all walking uphill, but we couldn't go fast enough. And I was trying to walk to this tree because it was the only thing, and it was at the top of the hill. So naturally everybody's trying to go towards this kind of light. Everything else is dark. There's all concrete foundations, like tornadoes ripped them off. Their bases, and we couldn't get up this hill, and we just wanted to walk. It's like if you've ever been in one of those dreams where you want to fight, but you can't throw a punch and you're just so weak. It was like that, but just couldn't walk fast enough to get up the hill. I was in front and there was hundreds of people behind me, and I remember I'm not being chased by them. We're all walking up and we all can't get up to the top of the hill. And then I hear loudspeakers saying random numbers. The two numbers that I did remember was 31 and 42. Somebody said, are they repeating? They were repeating, but there were other numbers. But somebody said Genesis 42:31, I think. Pretty crazy stuff. I've never had a dream like that with such symbolism, I guess. I've had realistic dreams, but that one was absolutely terrifying. And I could smell rotten flesh or like burning hair. It was just insanity. So I do want to have a dream show. If you've had a similar dream, let us know. Adam or Dex at marfooglenews.com. Our emails are right down below. Go to marfooglenews.com to access any of this and more. Go check it out.
All the truth, all the lies, all I hope is you realize it's all a bunch of bull. They might look at me like I'm a monster because I'm taking pot shots at these doctors. All the truth, all the lies, all I hope is you realize it's all a bunch of bull. They might look at me like I'm a monster. They might look at me like I'm a monster.
I've got the mystery saying white eyes. I bring it down in able body. Pico and taco Wiley. I drive it with my friends. I've got the able body. Mona Lisa Water and Buford Dre. Got Linda Slow, Linda Red Love, and no rest. Hold the hell up. Now we're racing real time. Gonna bring all my friends down.
I'm taking pot shots at these doctors. All the truth, all the lies, all I hope is you realize it's all a bunch of bull. They might look at me like I'm a monster because I'm taking pot shots at these doctors. All the truth, all the lies, all I hope is you realize.
I've got the rapture girl now. Gone girl, 777 down. Auto, drink water. Gone girl, 777. Thanks for your support. A dagger and stone and the rod shows. I've got everybody throwing them nickels. A bam, meth and a snipper bee. I've got snapper bee and homework joy. If you're remembering your dreams, decalcify your diet and be. I've got that one-hit chick and a Charlie 64, a Lord and two old rider and a Mr. Susan on those, I bring it back in on my toes. An island by the sea and all the made wild wonders. I've got that chowky gal, mosquitoes and Mr. Powell, to make it sure that I've got my Susie Q. I've got the holiday kiss of Mark Webb and the pizza. I bring it down, down, and now nobody got me down. Scooby-Doo do right in the nets of rim, and to be boo and be the bing. I've got to go in Chandler Bing and got a icy Hellraiser, a 524. Everybody knows. Do-do-do-do-do-do. I'm not perfect. Truth is, dum 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 dum. I'm not perfect. Dum dum dum. Truth is, I'm not perfect. Truth is, dum 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 dum. I'm not dum 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 dum. Not perfect. Truth is, I'm not perfect. I've got friends and I'm gonna be kind. I'm gonna say, don't rewind. I've got the G hook, and the one on me to prove it. I've got the Kenneth Bennett and the Mrs. Stewart. I've got the Sally Boy and that Bones with a Z. I see, 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 hey, hey. I've got the Wisdom and the Romney returns. I've got the Leo walls and everybody's eyes burn. With the Major and the Adam Manning. Geographically free, I must see. Everybody gonna go down, gonna bring it down, gonna get that Dex J. Got the Christina and Christina J. In fact, a Scooby-Doo do right and no do right. What the right is wrong. Aboard troll and everybody stays here, they stay strong. I'm perfect. Truth is, I'm not perfect. I got the island by the sea, and are you serious, Mrs. Gray? CJ Blaze and the Pam Beth and Charlie Abercrombie. Oh, Mason Newjohn, I'm not Mason Lehman. I do it back down like Ghost Rider 61, and now you 05. I go back down and I ride Kit Kat, and I go by my side and no. Global Witness in the house. Make sure to go over to Global Witness and subscribe. Global Witness, big YouTuber up in the house. He is really, really cool. Guy is an amazing guy. A lot of really good stories, but great channel. Go check him out. Oh yeah! So cool, I got to stop it. It might be easier once now. Got his system up and working on. Hey, everybody.